leaving through the ultra high-tech wooden doors to protect us from the radiation-flooded environment beyond. Greetings and welcome to the apocalypse, or more specifically, welcome to Sheltered version 1.0. That's right, Sheltered has been released. It has left early access. This is a game that I picked up a little while ago on Steam. I've played it a couple of times, gotten fairly far into it, so I've got an idea of what I'm doing. But now that it's received its full 1.0 release, I thought it was about time that we gave it a go on the channel and saw what you guys thought of it, and how far you want it to go. I think our initial phase will be I shall attempt to survive 7 days and get myself well established, and then at that point, if we successfully get to that point and everything is looking good, I'll see if you guys are still enjoying the series and if you want it to continue or not. But without further ado, let us start a new game. We are going to customize the family. Actually, we're not going to customize the family. I basically left them as they were in their randomized form, except I have given them all Patreon backer names, and I have, where possible, tried to give them purplish clothing, because of course they are the weird family, and weird people wear purple. It's just some kind of inherent rule of the universe, and I should know, because I'm weird. The first parent is Jonas, aka Jonas Kriedelmeier, Patreon backer extraordinaire, and he is, well, he's hygienic, which means he gets dirty more slowly. And he has had a good upbringing here. Look, intelligence of 5, charisma of 8, perception of 5, dex of 1, strength of 1. So he's not very strong, he's not very dexterous, he's going to be pretty terrible in combat actually, but he's very intelligent, or he's quite intelligent, he's very charismatic, and he's quite perceptive, which is important for finding things out there in the Wasteland. Next up, parent number 2 is Laura, who is courageous and violent. Also, as much as possible, wearing purple, as you can see. Violent, so she has an intelligence of 2, charisma of 1, so nothing particularly exciting going to be going on there. A middling perception of 3, which isn't too bad. But look, this is the real strength of Laura, parent number 2. It is a dex of 6 and a strength of 8. She is going to be our fighter extraordinaire. She's going to be the real muscle of the shelter, at least to begin with. Then we've got the 2 kids. We've got Andy, who is optimistic and well-spoken. He has an intelligence of 4, charisma of 7, perception of 1, not very perceptive at all, I'm afraid. Not very dexterous, and only slightly stronger. But, you know, nonetheless, well-spoken is good. High charisma is good for trading. So Andy can be our trade negotiator of choice. And we're going to send people out in 2s anyway, so hopefully, actually, as it works out, they should kind of complement each other reasonably well. And our last child here is Octopi, who is also courageous, much like his mother. He is hyper, he has an intelligence of 1, charisma of 2, perception of 2, but a dex of 7, very dexterous, and a strength of 3. So, like, also fairly good in combat, I suspect. And, you know, a not entirely terrible perception, and not entirely terrible charisma. So what we'll probably do is we'll pair Octopi up here with his dad, Jonas, and send them out together because they sort of complement each other. And we'll pair up Laura and Andy for expeditions. That's my plan anyway, and I think it is an awesome plan. So here we are. Of course, we're not going to be the Simmons. We are going to be the Weirds, the Weird family. There they are in all of their purple-ish glory. And we need a pet. We have been given a cat. Look, the cat is a natural hunter, excellent at killing rats. Any rats it kills will be transferred into the freezer. If the freezer space is available, provides a small stress reduction to all family members. Passive effect. Requires feeding every other day. So we can have a cat, we can have some fish, we can have a snake, we can have a horse, which is kind of cool, actually. Majestic and beautiful. The horse can be used to travel the wastelands at a faster pace. Actually, eats a lot of food, but arguably the most useful. And the dog, man's best friend, can be taken out with you on expeditions to increase your perception and help you in combat. Provides a small... Actually, I say that. Probably the dog is the most singularly useful, because an extra unit in combat... and indeed extra perception, which helps you to survive and things. So the dog is probably the best. However, we were assigned the cat randomly by the game, and so the cat is what we shall have. But the cat needs a name, so let's give the cat a name, shall we? Where's my Patreon backers randomizer? Here we go. Bone Hero! Bone Hero the cat. An incredibly suitable name for a cat, even if I do say so myself. Bone Hero the cat. And a natural hunter, excellent at killing rats. Well, that will come in kind of handy for keeping the shelter free of rats and also keeping it relatively stocked with freezer space. And also keeping everyone de-stressed, because cats are incredibly de-stressing. I say this as somebody who grew up with a cat, although I don't currently have a cat. Next. Do you want to play the tutorial? We do not need to play the tutorial. I have played this game before. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert or some kind of master at surviving in a shelter, but, you know, I mean, I've seen Mad Max and other things like that, so let's just assume that I'm going to be awesome. Here we go. So here's the team all hanging out in the shelter. This is my shelter. It's a bit of a mess. We can actually check the journal here. Day 1. So it begins. We are few, but together we are strong. Our family consists of Jonas, Laura, Andy, Octopi. Why did they name one of their children Octopi? I think he just insists on being called that. And our pet cat, Bone Hero. It was lucky we stumbled across this abandoned war shelter. It seems to have seen better days. Maybe with some elbow grease we can get it into good shape. Anything is better than where we came from. Where did we come from? Presumably out there in the Wasteland. It looks like there's been some kind of horrifying nuclear apocalypse. Yeah, it's not good. There's probably going to be radiation falling from the sky in the form of radioactive rain, obviously. Not just, you know, some kind of mysterious radiation particle falling from the sky. I suppose you could have radiation raining from the sky, but that happens every day from the sun, right? Anyway, I'm getting distracted, and this is not helping our survival. First things first. Jonas, the cat's arrived. Jonas, hello. Should we pet the cat? Can we pet the cat? Oh, I don't think we can actually pet the cat. Never mind. Cats will generally, you know, they like being petted sometimes, but only when they're in the mood. Andy, it looks like we have selected you. First of all, we're going to upgrade the workbench to level 2. Straight away. I've played this game twice before. And the first game, I did not upgrade the workbench straight away, and I used up the materials necessary to upgrade it, and then it took me ages to find them again, and I was stuck with a level 1 workbench for ages. So this time, we're not making that mistake. We're going straight for a level 2 workbench. We'll also send out a team straight away as well, I think. So let's set up an expedition, and we'll send them out to begin the never-ending scavenger hunts for stuff out there in the wilderness, in the wasteland. Andy is busy right now, and Andy is this one. So that means we're going to send out Jonas and Octopi, I think. Although Jonas is kind of hungry to be going on an expedition. He's feeling okay. He's doing nothing. He is hangenic, and his hands are off, whatever that means. Hands off? I don't know what that means. We'll select him, and we'll also select Should we send... Well, maybe we should send out for the first expedition, because we don't know how bad it is out there. I mean, we have literally just come from out there, but, you know, we don't know what the lay of the land is like. Who knows how we got here? Maybe we fell out of a plane or something. So we'll send out the 2 adults first, and we'll leave the kids to get the shelter in good nick. The 2 adults do actually complement each other quite well anyway, so, you know, I think they work well as a team. Feeling okay, doing nothing. Courageous, unhygienic. Why are you unhygienic? Why are you unhygienic? Your dirtiness is fine. I don't know why you're unhygienic. But you are. Plot your expedition route by adding waypoints. Okay, so this is where we are. This is kind of the map of the surrounding area in beautiful kind of like old-fashioned-y individual icons on grid type effect. We only have 15 water available, so it's going to have to be a short expedition. 6 takes us to the local school. 8 takes us to the church. 12, that's too much. Let's just hit those 2 locations. We'll just do a quick recce of the immediate vicinity. We'll use up a little bit of our water. Hopefully it'll rain soon. Maybe we should just work on getting the... No, I'm going to do it. It's going to be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. You wait and see. This is the best decision that you can make in Sheltered version 1.0. I know this for a fact. We're going to equip them with... gas masks, though, in case they get radiation poisoning. It's a little bit of a waste because it's such a short trip, but nonetheless. Laura is pretty strong, isn't she? So I'm going to give her a pipe. Strength of 8. I think she has a strength somewhere in the region of 8, so she ought to be able to use a pipe as a weapon in a pinch, if necessary. Not that we're probably going to run into anybody on such a short little jaunt into the wasteland, but you never know. Okay, off the parents go. We'll zoom out so we can see the shelter a little bit better here. Leaving through the ultra high-tech wooden doors to protect us from the radiation-flooded environment beyond. Octopi, whilst that's being upgraded, do you want to... How much water we got? 7 of 30 is our maximum storage capacity. Can we upgrade any of these things? Upgrade. We can upgrade the output of our oxygen pump. Output upgrade 1. This upgrade will increase the rate at which oxygen is pumped into the shelter, allowing you to support up to 6 people in the shelter at once. Just in case we meet anyone interesting on the road who we might want to recruit, that's probably not a bad thing to get in early. So, Octopi, grab yourself a radiation suit that fortunately happened to be in here, presumably in child size as well as adult size, and head outside and do that upgrade so that we can, if necessary, recruit additional peoples to join our little weird family. Meanwhile, Andy is busy upgrading that crafting station, and hopefully he will complete that job soonish. There we go, look. There's Octopi outside doing the business. Oh, we've got a radio transmission incoming from our team, so let's answer that. Accept transmission. Hello, Jonas here. We've stumbled across a school, and it looks like it might have some good loot. Want us to take a look? Yes, that is why you're out there, Jonas. That's basically why I sent you there. And, you know, just get it done. Get it done. He will take a little while before he's actually reports back on that exploration. So, in the meantime, look, Andy has finished upgrading this, which means... Not only do we have access to all these Tier 1 things, we also now have access to Tier 2 things, which include things like makeshift toilet, which is a lot better than the basic toilet, which we probably should get. We're also going to want one of these makeshift showers to keep people clean. So let's start with a makeshift shower. I think the next shower up isn't until we get to Tier 3. Yeah, that's where you can build a good shower. But Tier 3... For Tier 3, we would need 7 hinges and 7 rope. Not an outrageous amount of stuff to get. We should probably try and focus on getting these relatively soon, because everything that we can skip in the lower tiers is like more efficient. But obviously we need to cover the basics, otherwise we'll get into trouble. Alright, looks like the exploration team have reached the school. It looks like this school has some stuff that might be useful. What do you think? I think useful stuff sounds good, Laura. Another pipe is indeed useful. Some more wood, 2 wood. You always use up a lot of wood. A couple of lenses, some magnesium, switch, paint can. We can paint the shelter. That's always nice. A bit of water isn't going to hurt at the moment, in case we don't have any rain for a while. Nail, sand, limestone, and 2 cement. Cement we need to expand the shelter to dig out additional rooms and things. So that is always very welcome. Good. Everyone is busy doing their business. The exploration team is off exploring the wilds outside. Up above here, we'll occasionally see like animals and things come by. It might be a nice idea to get like a snare or something put up here so that we can catch them, because leather is very useful indeed. We have a new incoming transmission from our team. Let's accept the transmission. Hello, this is Laura. We found a church out in the Wasteland. Yes, again, that's what you're out there for. It would be nice, actually, if you could set the exploration team to, like, just auto-check anything that was actually on their route. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, we've seen something off in the distance, and you can weigh up whether you think it's a good idea for them to go and do it or not. What else are we going to need? We're going to need a bed. Look, Andy is getting tired. Oh, he's getting sleepy, the little fella. So let's craft a bed. I'm going to try and skip sleeping bags if we can. We'll go straight for beds, although we may end up having to craft a sleeping bag if it turns out that we don't have the materials to make enough beds early on. Alright, it looks like they have finished exploring whatever it is. Laura to base, we found something in this church. Yes, once again I am interested, obviously. Some food would be good. How much food have we got? We already have 10 food, so this brings up to 11 food. Food is quite important, obviously, because without food, curiously enough, everyone will die. It's strange, I know, but it is just the way that it works. 2 more limestone, sure, we'll take that. What else have we got here? We'll take the nails. A transistor. Now we have to make some hard choices. We'll take the water, obviously. I'm not going to take the coal or the mannequin's leg, or the burnt clothes. Funnily enough, I would like to take this wool though. I think the wool is probably more important than magnesium, which I think is only used in crafting later on at like higher tiers for like ammo and stuff, I guess, and explosives. So we'll take the wool instead of the magnesium. Question is, do I want to take anything to get this circuit breaker or transistors? Do I want either of these more than anything that I've got here? I don't think I do. Possibly the lens. Again, I think this is only really used in later crafting. Whereas I'm pretty sure circuit breakers are used early on with some of the upgrades and stuff. But 2 versus 1. Let's just stick with what we've got here. With like circuit breakers and transistors, I'm sure we'll find millions of those all over the wasteland. They'll literally be just piled up in massive skips, ready for survivors to come and grab them and help themselves and generally do the business. It looks like Octopi is super duper sleepy as well. More so even than Andy. So I think what we'll do is we'll set Andy a second job when he finishes to expand the shelter down here, and we'll get Octopi to remove his suit and go and have a nice sleep. Go and have a nice sleep. Who's this? Look, we've got people passing by above right at the same time as our crew is returning. Hello there. Nice to see you. Nice day, isn't it? Farewell then. And other such pleasantries that people in post-apocalyptic scenarios probably wouldn't engage in most of the time. I find this a little bit odd. Look, the actual entrance is covered up by this. I suppose when you zoom in, it's not too bad. Maybe you're supposed to play the game from the zoomed-in mode, even though it's obviously less useful for actually seeing what's going on all of the time. We have to wait for both of our people to get back in before we can hear all about their incredible exploits. Perception 5, Perception 3, slight increases in Perception, that's not too bad. We'll take everything and just dump it into supplies. Yes, we have finished. Who we got here? Jonas is kind of hungry, so Jonas, you can go and eat some food. And Laura, you can go and eat some food as well. Day 2. We have survived for the first day, and that's probably a good place to leave our first episode. We're really just touching on the basics at the moment. We can automate these guys, which actually makes our life a little bit easier, especially when we expand and have more people in the team. Likewise, we can speed up time, but I find it makes it kind of manic when we do that, especially when I'm trying to record, so we'll use this relatively sparingly, but we'll use it more and more as time progresses because things can become a little bit repetitive and time-consuming otherwise. But you can look forward to all of that occurring in the future. Until then, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I have been Weird Wizard, and I will see you later. The shaman was willing to offer his services, but demanded payment up front. He promised that after his ritual, the patient would be cured of all kinds of mental sicknesses. What does this shaman mean, mental sicknesses? Bah! We're not sick, I tell you, mental or otherwise. We're perfectly sane individuals. I mean, Ada does have a slight proclivity for falling in love with natives, spontaneously overnight and getting us into trouble, but I wouldn't call that a sickness. No deal. We did not come to an agreement with the shaman.